Hey world, what's up with you? This video will be a follow-up to my first video, why black men prefer to date white women over black women, link below. Ever since I did that video, I received generally an overall positive response from my viewers, and I had plenty of both men and women compliment the video, saying they like the way I break it down and are waiting for a follow-up response. I've even had many say they agree with every single thing I said. Then on the other hand, I also had many who disagreed, some who even tried to respond with insults, which was fine. I mean, what's new? Anyway, what I'm going to do here is explain the reasons a little bit more, and then after that, towards the end of the video, I'll explain my answer if I feel it's wrong for brothers to date white women in that whole situation. Now, first off, one thing I want to point out is from my people who disagreed with the first video, the most common response I got from them was not all of us are like this, not all black women are overweight. Which was funny because I could have sworn I covered that, saying that the things do not apply to all black women in the first video. I remember thinking specifically, try not to say it too much, people would start to think that I'm repeating myself. Well, it turns out I didn't say it enough, some people I have to say it more than 6 times. Second thing, the thumbnail picture. A lot of people complain, why would you put a picture of an ugly black girl next to a pretty white hoe? Which I found interesting because it showed that a lot of people didn't even listen to the video. They probably didn't even make it up to 12 minutes in the video where I explained that the picture represents how the media stresses white beauty, not my opinion. And it was funny to see how I would explain this over and over in the comments, and every time they would just stop. And as far as the picture, I didn't even make it. I found it off Google. But if it makes you feel better, we can reverse the roles just as easy. See? Another thing, I never said that I prefer white women. Never. This was funny because I got a lot of comments and even a response video saying, why don't you just go off with your white whore? Calling me a self-hater and all that. I love black women. I love women of all races, straight up. And I'm just tired of seeing all these common trends in our community that I feel keep us down. Anyway, to get started, I had attitudes listed as the first reason. Now this shouldn't be a surprise at all. I can easily combine several clips from just YouTube alone of men saying black women have attitudes. Does it mean that all black women have attitudes? No. Does it mean that all white girls don't have attitudes? No, we know there are some out there that do. But the fact of the matter is, in most cases, black women overall are just known to have attitudes. There was a book published not so long ago about how to date a white guy for black women. First thing they said, leave the black girl attitude at home. What black girl attitude? And why would you wait till you date a white guy to leave it at home? Is it possible that maybe men of all races want you to leave that attitude at home? Shit, matter of fact, leave it at your mama house. Men don't want to handle their women. If there's a point in time where an issue arises or some type of outside threat, we will handle that, but we don't feel we should handle issues from within the home just because you want to take everything out of line. You supposed to be on my team. You gotta help me keep the shit moving. Not that, nigga, don't tell me to calm down. Again, this ain't all black women. A lot of it seems to apply more to the hood rats, but there are cases where I have seen it outside of the ghetto. Also, to illustrate the differences, look at the difference between Nicki and Mariah. Now, second reason was black women are loud. Again, this ain't all black women. I know plenty of girls out there that are softer spoken, and they usually refer to them as whitewash or Oreo. But the thing is, I'm sure most of us have seen people who are just loud, whether they're laughing or just talking regular. Then you point it out to them and they're like, oh, I didn't even know. Each one of us know or have seen people who are like this, and if you haven't, chances are it's you. And like I said, it ain't always a bad thing, but come on, reason 2 with reason 1, fellas, you ain't winning that argument. Because like Chris Rock said, all logic goes out the window. You could be in an argument with her about the color of the sky. Soon as she turns that reason 1 with reason 2 on, it's a wrap. By the end of the argument, you both go your separate ways. She still thinks the sky is green. And everybody's wrong at times, but she'll be damned if a nigga gon' prove her wrong. And she'll make you feel like a jackass for saying the sky is blue. The fuck is wrong with you? Shit don't even make sense. And I'm not saying that men are always right or anything, but what I'm saying is, in her eyes, she's always right. She'll set a self-destruct bomb before you prove her wrong. Ghetto ain't cute. No surprise here. When it comes to ghetto, there ain't nothing but negativity that's associated with the ghetto. Food stamps, EBT cards, welfare. I remember when I was in high school seeing a lot of girl fights in the hallways. After the fight, there would be weave laying on the ground, crowd of people accidentally walking over it on their way to the next class. Not a good look. I mean, common response I got here was not all of us are ghetto. I even had some link ghetto folks to what we know as trailer trash or redneck, which I felt was a decent response, but I'm just convinced that the ghetto makes up a larger percentage of the black community than trailer trash white people. Also, I think there's more self-hatred instilled in the ghetto. You know, I'm not saying that their reasons are justified or anything, I'm just explaining it for the brothers who insist on dating white women. Now, when it comes to women being high maintenance, I mean, it's one thing for women to have standards in their men, but it's another when it comes to the point where you disguise greed for love. You know, and I'm not saying that exists only in the black community. We know there are white women like that too. You know, the thing is, just because they do it too, don't make it right. You know, I know a 23-year-old white girl who's married to some kind of doctor. He's about 50 something, but everybody noticed that their marriage looks more like an arrangement. You know, his money for her sexuality, and they always arguing too. You know, it's because your marriage is based on superficial nonsense. Also, I remember I had a job at a call center not so long ago. I think it was early 2012, and it was a bunch of hood rats that worked there. But I remember our department was trying to plan a potluck for a Friday. Well, it turns out they had to cancel the potluck because of a lot of the ladies were calling out sick to go to an NBA All-Star game. I remember hearing them talk about it, you know, driving down to Orlando for the weekend just so they can bag one of the players. You know, I'm just saying, when it comes to the point where money is the key to making you happy, you know, especially when it's his money, he may end up seeing you as nothing but property. I think when it comes to women being too demanding, I mean, like I said, it's one thing for her to have preferences, but I think some women are just too unrealistic with where they set those preferences. For example, you want a man who's fit, but you 5'2", 180. Or you want that man because he's good looking, yet his looks already got him 2 kids, you know. Or he has to make at least 80 a year, yet you're going to reject the guy who makes 50 a year, who might be a more well-rounded and happier with where he is in life. That guy that makes 80 a year might be a womanizer who takes all his frustrations that he builds up at work out on the women that he dates, yet you're willing to overlook that because of how much he earns. You know, the guy that makes 50 a year probably could have taken you to a world of happiness and compatibility, yet you felt that he simply wasn't the better man. Number 6 was black women being overweight. Again, this ain't all black women. Also, there are plenty of women of other races who are overweight too. We know that. But who leads the nation in overweight or obesity statistics? Don't believe me? Research it. Someone even told me that when she goes out in public, she sees just as many overweight white women as she does overweight black women. You forget, white people as a whole still outnumber us. And one of the most common responses I got was that I was bashing black women. You know, I was being offensive and insulting black women. Which, if you watch, I mean, I didn't say anything offensive. At least I don't think. I mean, I was more so trying to shed some light on an issue I really think exists. And I feel if nobody points it out, if no one recognizes this is a growing problem, the issue will only get worse. Percentages will only increase. But people want to say I'm being offensive. My question is, how do you point out an issue with black women without it sounding offensive? You can't. There's no nice way for me to say obesity is becoming more common amongst black females. They're going to take offense to it regardless. I also stated in the human species, men are supposed to be bigger. Though it's true women often have a slower metabolism and maintain more of what they eat. But I just think in our community, we need to pick up healthier lifestyles. I can even do a video on how to lose weight and live healthy. That's permitted I receive enough requests. But just like they say in those AA meetings, the first step in overcoming a problem is to recognize that the problem exists. Now, reason 7 was a lot of baggage. Again, not all black women. Also, there are plenty of white women with baggage. But again, who leads the nation in children born out of wedlock? What about teenage pregnancies? And I think the issue is too many black women and women in general are having kids too early. And I'll be honest, I think regardless of how much you love the dude, the earliest time women should have kids is around their late 20s. That's just my opinion, but I also have this foolish belief that people should establish financial security first. Also, this gives you enough time to enjoy your youth while you can. You know, you can get off work and decide if you want to hit up the ladies and do ladies night, or if you just want to chill. You know, you won't have to worry about who's going to watch these kids. Again, not all black women. But when you take a step back to look at it, white people coined the term family planning. You know, you plan to have kids. Black people, we got that baby daddy. Him is my baby daddy. You know, this is our contribution to society. And I know men should be blamed too. You know, these women ain't impregnating themselves. But like I said before, women are in control of sex. Most guys will fuck any and everything. We're dogs, remember? Squirrels looking to get our next nut. And I don't want anyone to feel that I'm scolding black women or shaming. But if you're guilty of any of these things, that's alright. There's always room for improvement. Number 8 was black women are less attractive. Now if anyone noticed, beside the word attractive, I put a bright red question mark there for a reason. Again, I don't feel black women are less attractive, but I think our society is programmed to believe that beauty involves long, straight hair. The media stresses beauty to be one way, yet when they show what we're supposed to believe to be a beautiful black woman, she's light-skinned with European features. Alicia, Hallie, Paula, all 3 of them have white mothers. What about the darker black women? They cute too, ain't they? How can all women see this as a level playing field when it's obvious that one group of women are praised more for their looks than the other group? You ask me, it's obvious that darker women are held at a disadvantage. I mean, you Google beautiful women and click images, you don't get no pictures of black women. Or you might get a picture of Beyonce or something. Another thing, I think black women are taught at a young age that their hair ain't pretty. Young girls are taught that true beauty is long, wavy hair that will blow in the wind. They go to school and hear some garbage about Rapunzel, beautiful princess that gets her prince by throwing her long, beautiful blonde hair out the window. She grew up, she want to wear weaves and lace fronts. And in a way, you kind of can't blame them because that's the society that they were raised in. But the reality is, how can I find true black beauty attractive if I don't know what it looks like? I mean, too many sisters out there wearing other people's hair. It don't look natural. That's like seeing a pale Chinese girl rocking a black afro. Bitch, you got that shit from the Spencer's gift shop in the mall. And she see you, she want to put her fist up, talking about fight the power. That shit don't look real. Y'all say white girls wear weave too. It's hard to tell because that shit look like their natural hair. Now, to answer that question, if I feel it's wrong for brothers to ignore black women for white women, my answer is this: yes and no. And what I'm going to do is explain the reason why I don't think it's wrong first. And I'll probably end up losing a lot of my female audience. But then I'll explain why I do think it's wrong. The reason why I don't think it's wrong is this: when you become a man, there comes a point where you realize that your world is your world. Every decision that you make is your choice. You don't owe nobody nothing. You shouldn't feel obligated to do anything for anyone just because you were born a certain way or to a certain people. Every decision you make, it's you that has to deal with the repercussions, no one else. Now, for the reason why I do feel it's wrong, I just feel that our women have had it the worst. Overall, we've been throughout the most in our history. How our women were treated throughout slavery and the times leading up to the civil rights era. Even now, like I said, how society perpetuates this myth that they're less attractive. And throughout all that, it was alright because she always had her brother by her side. But then now, you got this influx of brothers dating white women, many black celebrities and athletes with white women. How is she supposed to feel? I mean, I have nothing against interracial relationships. I mean, I in fact love interracial relationships. What I don't like is when people only date races outside of their own and will try to disguise it for anything short of racism. Kind of like Bill Bellamy on The Brothers. Ignore all black women just to fuck with a white girl, as if all white girls are simply better. When it comes to racism, I mean, I've seen a few different definitions. Some involving hatred, but one of them that stood out to me was the belief that one race is superior to another. In other words, if you like white women, that's cool, but if you feel that white women are simply superior, by one definition, that implies racism. But hey, we're all entitled to our own opinion, and our country supports having your own beliefs. And I know I stated all these things about black women, but like I told them, it don't apply to all black women. Yet you gonna ignore all black women just to date white women? You might have passed up some real decent sisters just to get at that one mediocre Becky. And we always hear black women respond, "What would your mama think? What would she say?" Because men value their mothers more than anything. I mean, you can tell any man right now, I've kidnapped your mother and your father, and you have to select which one will die. Most men will be like, I love my father to death, but if you lay one motherfucking finger on my mama, that's gonna be your ass. Yet you gonna ignore all black women as if their appeal is subpar. And I've seen some other videos about why black men prefer to date white women. And some of them were I mean, they're all like, oh, those beautiful blue eyes, their creamy white skin. Then I've seen others, shit, y'all think I was being insulting and offensive. I never called a woman out her name. I never even referred to a black woman as a bitch. Not once, not even in the comment section. I never even called a black woman fat or degraded them for their weight. I did say there's an issue with obesity amongst the women in our community. I never called a black woman a hoe. Or bitch, you got too many baby daddies. I did say it's too many sisters having kids out of wedlock, and I ain't gonna sugarcoat shit, but it's funny how I can say many black girls are having kids early, the response I would get from some viewers. I'd say some black women have attitudes, the insults I would get from some viewers. Anyway, I think I'll be doing a series of videos discussing these things individually. And like I said, if you're guilty of any of these things, no one's perfect, but there's always room for improvement. Also, I got another video on common issues among us black men. Go ahead and check it out. Anyways, rate and comment. Peace.